Hey everybody, hey. Welcome to Live Q&A Wednesdays. I think this is working. I'm live. So welcome. I'm Darcy. I am the creator of the Vibrant Woman program. This is a paradigm shifting program. Sorry, my brain is half asleep today. It's gonna get cold. We got low barometric pressure coming in. Big storm system headed our way here in the Midwest of the US. And I'm cozied up at my desk today, working from home, drinking my hot chocolates full of electrolytes, and excited to talk to you about this topic. I got a couple of questions all around a theme this week that I want to break down for us in a very simple way. And the theme is this: plateaus, right? So especially for women, when we have a weight loss plateau, or a fitness plateau where things seem to come to a halt and there's no progress being made. There's a lot of different reasons for that, and absolutely every woman needs to look at her own specific situation, her health history. There are lots of factors that play into this. But what I have noticed in my experience, in the, also, what I study in the literature, and what tends to happen, I would say, more than 90% of the time with the clients that I work with, there is one root cause factor at the heart of almost all plateauing, and it's this: stress. All right. So what I want to do today is talk a little bit about why that is, what's really happening there metabolically, and what we can do about it. All right. So let's dive in. The main premise of my program, let me just back up for a minute and explain to you what the Vibrant Woman program is. First of all, I am a founding member of certified MAF method health coaches and practitioners. What that means is that living this paradigm shifting work of my mentor and friend, Dr. Phil Maffetone, he developed the MAF method. And MAF, yes, it's the first three letters of his last name, but MAF, maximum aerobic function. This is really important because what we are seeing come to light more and more now that the literature is focusing. So listen to this, folks. Science can only answer the questions that we're asking. Science is not a dogma, okay? It's not your new religion. If you're using it that way, that's not what science really is. We could talk about that on a whole nother Q&A. Science, the way that we need to think about this, science is really a technology. It's a tool. It's the way that we go about investigating potential answers to questions that we're asking. It's a way to see if we can find explanations for the things that we observe. And, right? So we're only going to get the answers to the questions that we're asking. And even if other answers enter in, we either can't hear them or see them, they don't factor in, we tend to discard them. So this is really important because if we're not asking questions that lead us to root causes, we'll never find them. You can never get an answer to a question you haven't asked. It's just the way the universe works too, right? So what I want you to think about is this. What we're noticing in the literature is this connection between all of these metabolic diseases, which are modern diseases, by the way. Our ancestors did not have these diseases. They come on the scene the same time humans settle into agrarian communities and begin subsisting on a much more limited variety of foods than they previously had, primarily grains. So that's another topic as well. These are things I love to go into, and I just want to plant some seeds and invite you to do some of this learning and research yourself. But the main idea here is that when we look at the body and its modern metabolic diseases, there's something at the foundation of this that we have been overlooking, and that is the development and care and the thriving of the human aerobic system. And when I say that aerobic system, this is Phil's work, and a lot of what they talk about in terms of root causes for some of these other metabolic diseases, and I'm talking about things like diabetes, insulin resistance, the hormone stuff like polycystic ovaries, endometriosis, the neurological stuff. You know, what we have at the root of this is aerobic deficiency. That's a new keyword that's coming up in a lot of the literature, just like this keyword coming up, carbohydrate intolerance. What these two things have to do with each other is this. The basic aerobic system of your body are all of the slow twitch muscle fibers that hold things together, hold your frame together, supports the movement of the body, supports the structure of the body. These small, slow twitch muscle fibers are the majority of the muscles in the body. They prefer to burn fat for fuel, and this is really our endurance system, all right? So a lot of us who are athletes tend to think about, oh, I'm either a sprinter or a marathoner. Well, the truth is we can develop both the anaerobic, the powerful muscles, and the aerobic muscles, the endurance ones. We want both, but here's what we have been doing with our modern lifestyles. We have been eating in a way that only provides sugar to the body, and that makes us sick in lots of different ways. We have been moving in a way lately that only invites the body, that causes the body to burn sugar. So we end up with this anaerobic system. That system, when it's the dominant system of the body, the dominant metabolic system, we are more likely to have injuries and illness and allergies and weight gain and brain fog because we're burning all the wrong stuff. We're just burning all the wrong stuff. And so what I want to do is say this as simply as I can today. Of course, if you're interested in these details and all the science stuff and you want to go deeper down that rabbit hole with me, go over to my website. I'll put the link nearby, set up a free discovery call, and let's talk about it. And let's talk about how it applies to you and what you could be doing in your own healthcare routine. Okay, I love doing all that. For the purpose of today's talk, I want to help you understand what a plateau really is. And I want to help you understand how we can jump off of there, right? And make more steady progress. And it has everything to do with ramping up the function of the aerobic system. And that's our fat burning, slow twitch, endurance, musculature of the body. It's really important that we sort of break this apart, that we unravel the aerobics classes that my generation grew up watching and the Jane Fonda stuff and what everybody calls cardio these days. That may not be aerobic. Aerobic has less to do with the actual activity that you're doing, and it has everything to do with your intensity. All right, can you hear that? So weightlifting can be done aerobically, and jogging and cycling and swimming can be done anaerobically. So it's not the activity that makes it aerobic or not. It's the intensity that makes it aerobic or anaerobic. Now, here's what I want you to understand. If we have a really good aerobic system of the body, that aerobic system, all those muscles, those slow twitch muscles, they want to burn fat for fuel. And when they're ramped up and connected and doing a good job and humming along, when the aerobic system is well developed, you're burning fat for fuel, which means the little bit of glucose that's left circulating in the bloodstream, and only a little bit of glucose, by the way, is what's safe or appropriate to be floating in your bloodstream. If you end up with a lot of glucose circulating in your bloodstream, it can't get into the cells. We end up with an insulin problem and insulin resistance and pre-diabetes and eventually diabetes. So I've talked a lot about that week after week. Head over to my YouTube channel and, sort through there and learn more about that. What I want you to understand is a little bit of glucose circulating is what is needed for your brain. Okay, most of those aerobic cells prefer fat. They're keto adaptive. If you program them to burn sugar now and you're feeling sluggish and lethargic and a bit overweight and your pants don't fit in the middle and your waistline is expanding and you're finding yourself low on energy, that's because your aerobic system isn't working well. And we can change that. We can shift it very easily. It doesn't take long. In fact, a lot of people want to work harder at it than it really is. It's a very simple shift in what you're eating. Eat foods that are low in sugar, foods that do not turn to sugar, foods that are higher in protein and fat so that the aerobic system gets the fuel source it wants. And move your body in a way that burns fat, which means lower intensity. So that's what I'm getting to ramp up the aerobic system of the body, which is what we want to do to avoid injury, illness, allergies, weight gain, hormone imbalance. That's what all of this is about. This is Phil's program, Maximum Aerobic Function. So building, developing, nurturing that aerobic system of the body as your primary metabolic engine. And yes, we need the anaerobic too. We need it for sprinting, we need it for strength, but that needs to be the minority of our activity. All right, so we've just got these things out of balance, particularly people who are very physically fit. A lot of athletes are actually overtraining, and they end up with the same problems the rest of us. They have stress and injuries and illness, and just because they can go fast and far doesn't necessarily mean they have a healthy foundation in their aerobic system. So this is for everybody. This is for the couch potatoes and those of us who are just getting started. This is for the folks who think they are elite athletes, and they are. I'm not saying you're not an elite athlete, but you may not have a good aerobic system, and that is one of the reasons why you are more likely to get injured. And so what does this have to do with plateauing and women wanting to get through, like the next layer of weight loss? Well, if we don't have a healthy aerobic system, then our bodies are going to be burning sugar and craving sugar. This sets us up for cycling in the wrong direction, okay? This program, the one my Vibrant Woman program is based on, the one that I teach, is going to take us in another direction. We're going to eat in a way that provides the fat the body needs for this aerobic system to burn. It's what it prefers. And we're going to move the body in a way that only burns that fat. These are lower intensities. Okay, it applies to couch potato people just getting started. It applies to every level of fitness, up to elite athletes. So what we want to do is burn fat, not sugar. If we are burning fat, then we don't really have the plateaus. So for people who are using this program as a weight loss tool, and it's not, I do not teach this program because I think everybody needs a weight loss tool. I do teach this program because every body is perfect the way it is. And how you feel in your body is the most important thing. The last thing on the planet I want to encourage is women to lose weight. So from exterior cultural cues. The last thing I want you to do is to worry about your size or your shape or how much fat you carry or wear because of someone outside of you telling you that is the way for you to be accepted or loved or good enough or any of that. What I do teach is fat loss as a tool. It's actually, I don't teach fat loss, I teach a fat burning metabolism. Why? Because it's how we evolved to be. Because a fat burning metabolism allows your brain to have the fuel that it needs to thrive. These are the same tools I use to help my daughter outgrow her seizure disorder. These are the same tools I used to completely rehabilitate my own adrenal burnout. These are the tools my clients are using, yes, for their pants to fit again, if they have decided that they are not comfortable with the way their waistline is growing, that they're not comfortable with their current level of strength or agility or flexibility. This is about helping every single person be as comfortable as they can be in their own body so they can love being alive in their own body. That's what I want for you, if you want it for yourself. Okay? And I'm not saying this is the only way to do it. What I am saying is what we see out there in the mainstream, what we're sold year after year after year, almost this time of year, you probably already have some ads for, join the gym. It's going to be discounted here in a couple of weeks. Like one of my beautiful, brilliant clients said the other day, January is nothing but a welcome mat. It's a cultural welcome mat. Welcome to the new you and the new year. And there is some momentum to that I want to take advantage of. I'm going to talk at the end today about an event that I'll be hosting in the 1st of January to support people getting started in doing this, because this program of move slower to burn more fat, lower your intensity to heal your body, rest more to lower your stress, because stress is the stress is the problem, people. Stress is a big problem. It hurts our bodies. So this is what we need to do to turn it around. And these are not the same messages that we get, those folks that want to sell you a membership and get you on a treadmill under fluorescent lights. I don't want you to do something that hurts your body. I want you to heal your body. And it turns out this is exactly what happens when we plateau. So the questions I got this week. Darcy, I've been losing weight consistently. Let me just say this too. This is one of the end goals a lot of people have. They want to lose weight. I encourage that from a place of wholeness, from a place of if you feel your body is storing too much fat. And yes, stored fat is a sign of metabolic problems happening, especially around the middle. The best way to see if you are carbohydrate intolerant or not is not anything fancy. Yes, we can do some lab tests, and yes, we can measure your VOX scores, and if you're exhaling enough CO2, like what your fat to sugar burning ratios are. The easiest way to see if you are carbohydrate intolerant is to measure around your waistline. Your waist circumference compared to your height, it should be less than half. If you're storing more fat there, because think about it, we don't want to lose weight. We want to lose fat. But why do we want to lose fat? Because we understand that when we store fat in certain places, it's simply a message from your body that metabolically things are not going as they should. Things are not going as well as they could. The body is not burning the fat it was intended to burn, and it's being stored instead, which results in a whole host then of downline metabolic problems. So we have to turn the corner. We have to turn this around and start burning fat instead. We do it by changing what we eat. We do it by changing the way we move. And here's the thing for those folks who are plateauing. We do it by changing the way we deal with stress and lowering stress as much as possible. 90% of the time when I'm working with somebody who has hit a fitness or weight loss plateau, and what that really means is just that they're not able to continue making progress for some reason. So they were steadily losing weight and it stopped, and either they're gaining again or they just can't seem to get, to keep going, keep the momentum going, or it could be fitness related. It could be, someone who's getting faster or being able to go farther. And then suddenly they hit a bump, they hit a plateau, and they feel as if the same effort is producing less results. Here's what we tend to unravel and find. It's stress. And it's stress because metabolically what happens when we're under stress comes in different forms. The women in my Vibrant Women course are going to learn all about this and where to find stress that's hiding. We all tend to be really familiar with the mental and emotional stress. So we have a relationship that's stressful or a job that's stressful. We're worried about money. Like these are the very common stressors. They're not just mental, emotional, because the body translates that into chemicals. The weight of all that stress really is on the adrenal glands. They sit atop your kidneys, and there's a physiological load that they can handle. There's their timing of their ability to put out cortisol that runs our diurnal rhythms. All of that is impacted when we are under stress. They're physiological organ, like they are physically there. It's not in your head. It's in your body. It's in your adrenal glands, right? So we have to do everything we can to physically support the body during stress. So mental and emotional stress, financial stress, this time of year, lots and lots of food stress. A lot of us are in environments where we are triggered to consume things that all the external cues say to consume. If we were really paying attention to the body's saying, I don't want this. I don't feel well. It might say it with bags under your eyes, puffy face, bloating in your belly, change in your bathroom habits, change in your sleep, change in your mood, change in your memory or your emotions. These are all things happening inside the body. This is the body saying, something's not working for me here. We're going to have to change this. Okay, and so one of the things that happens then during stress is the cortisol gets too high. Cortisol, the way it's got there's a lot of different moving parts here, but what I want you to understand when it comes to plateauing for weight loss or fitness, cortisol is intimately connected with our ability to have steady blood sugar balance which is at the heart of this building your aerobic system. Okay, so if we are under stress, and even if you're not giving into all the cravings, stress is going to cause the cravings for the sugary stuff. It's going to cause lost sleep. But a lot of this, it's not just mental emotional, folks. This is the way your body responds. This is the way the body processes all of these chemicals. The chemical cocktail that impacts the way we think, the way we eat, the way we move, the way we sleep. All right? So what I want to point out is it's not at all uncommon to hear, and I've heard from a bunch of them this week, women plateauing. Their weight loss has stalled, their fitness has stalled, their sleep is off. These are all symptoms. These are all messages from your body pointing you within, telling you something is off. And typically what that is that the stress is high this time of year. Whether it be from the holidays, whether it be from travel pressure, whether it be financial, whatever that stress is, the stress load, the stress of extra food, of more alcohol, of more sugar, of less sleep, whatever all those stressors are that add up to the weight on your physiological adrenal glands. Stress will slow down our fat burning. Okay, so that's really what's going on here. When you have a high level of stress, your aerobic system does not function the same. You're not able to burn fat. So it makes sense that all of the functions of the body that are biofeedback telling us your aerobic system is in good shape, then we're just going to see the signs of what we're doing. Weight loss, and let's be clear, we don't want weight loss, we want fat loss. We want to burn fat from the places it doesn't belong to be stored, from the places that we don't feel agile, from the places that we know are developing metabolic disease, right? We don't want to lose weight, we want to lose the excess stored fat. That is not a problem by itself, but is the sign of the problem. And that problem is an inefficient aerobic system. That system isn't getting what it needs. And so it's not able to do its job. That's why we also get aches and pains. That's why the low back. And for some people, it's the knee. And a lot of people, it's the plantar area. That's inflammation, number one, in your body. But that's also where the red flags, the signs and symptoms of aerobic deficiency show up first. It's the aerobic system that holds the body together. And as it's struggling, it can't do that as well. Those are the places that get the most physical stress from the way we move or don't move in our modern world. And so those are the places that begin to complain. And all it is a complaint saying, hey, we got a problem at the root. Let's look at the root problem. Let's look at the aerobic system. Not working the way that it should, the way that it could. So what I advise for people who have hit these plateaus is, number one, just take it easy on your sweet self, because don't do what I did. An extra freaking video workout, tango, whatever video at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. after you get the kids tucked in and before you go to bed to try to burn more calories to fit back in your jeans. That is the wrong timing, the wrong intensity. That is not going to help you. That's not going to develop your aerobic system. So this is what I want people to think about. If stress can stop your ability to burn fat, and if burning fat is the primary the natural metabolism for the body and most of the brain. And if we are doing something then to stop that from happening, it makes perfect sense that those things we notice, like the weight gain around the middle, like the fitness, the loss of some of our fitness ability, those things are simply symptoms. This is what I want you to pay attention to. I want you to notice when those things happen. I don't want you to start attacking the symptoms. I want you to notice the symptoms and notice where they're pointing us. They're saying, hey, something is off. Hey, the aerobic system is not as efficient as it was last week or last month or last summer, most likely. Vitamin D has a lot to do with this. Being outdoors has a lot to do with this. Helps to lower stress. It amps up the aerobic system. So I just want us to notice, like, what is the root cause, and then what do we do to treat the root cause? So again, staying up to do an extra exercise video, 30 extra minutes on your treadmill, not going to help. Probably the extra glass of wine to try to calm down or soothe yourself may not be helping either, right? That's just kind of pouring gasoline on the fire because it's causing more stress. So a plateau is normal. I want you to learn to see it as a message from your body that something is a bit off. What's usually off is the aerobic system has lost some of its efficiency. And all we have to do then is go back to our toolbox and do what we know to do to support the natural functioning of that aerobic system. And remember, aerobic just means in the presence of oxygen. Oxygen is the real fuel for those cells. Okay? And for that to happen, we need to provide healthy fats for food, no sugar for food. That applies to the white stuff. It applies to all the things that turn to sugar immediately in the bloodstream. So that's your, sorry to hear. This doesn't make me popular. It just makes me honest. So bread, pasta, bagels, chips, crackers, pretzels, all of those things with refined white flours that turn to sugar in your bloodstream. Those things are causing more stress. All right, so we got to change what we eat and feed that aerobic system what it's asking for. It's asking for primarily fat, adequate protein, okay? It doesn't mean we don't eat vegetables. We need tons of vegetables in as many different colors as you can find, fresh and local, as much as you can find it that way. Avocados aren't grown anywhere near me, so I'm obviously buying regular avocados from the grocery store. But I shop with local farmers as much as I can. See what you can do to get your food locally as much as possible. Okay, all the non-starchy stuff, as many different colors as you can. The nutrients, the minerals, the things that your body needs to literally make, heal, and repair itself come from the soil and the foods that are grown in good soil from regenerative farms, if possible. If not, go to your local grocery store and buy whatever you can afford in as many different colors as you can. Rinse it all, chop it when you get home, and use that as the basis of most of your meals if you can, adding really healthy fats and adequate protein. We go into all of those details, of course, in my private coaching. We're going to sort out everybody's macros one-on-one with them because we all have unique needs. Definitely, I give you the tools for that inside my Vibrant Woman course, which you're going to hear much more about in the next couple of weeks because we're going to do it again in January, okay? For those of you who missed it last year, this is your chance to come on board and in a group setting, learn these tools that are so important for building your aerobic system. But nutrition is the foundation of it. So we're going to learn what to avoid and what to eat. We're going to personalize that for everybody. I also want to make sure that you're moving your body in a way then that burns fat, not sugar. This is where so many of my athlete clients, this is all you overtrainers, bless your hearts, you know, you're fast and strong and fierce, and I love that about you, but you might be causing more stress than you need to. You might be activating your anaerobic system more than your aerobic system. Which in the long run isn't necessarily a bad thing, but we need to back up a few steps and give you that proper foundation of fat burning aerobic efficiency, all right? So that we can heal some of your physical pains and niggles, so that we can allow your brain to heal, and so that we can really, get your physical structure healed first. Then we'll go back to the fast and the strong stuff, okay? So this is really what I wanted to say then about the plateauing. So many women, when they are, especially if you're out for weight loss, and especially if it's around the middle, you know, this is such a tricky point for women. So many of us have our self-esteem and our self-worth and our self-love tied up with how our bodies look and how our bodies are perceived by the mainstream culture. Okay? So just for a little while, I want to invite you to go back inside your body. I want you to put your attention on how it feels in there, not how you think it looks, not how you think other people are judging you. I want you just to put your attention on feeling your body. This is one of the first steps to healing stress, is just to simply become present with yourself in the now moment. Let the past melt away. Let our worries about the future melt away. And sit still with your sweet self and feel your breath flowing. Feel your heart beating. Trust that everything your body is doing, or what even you have judged it to not be doing, it's absolutely doing its best every moment. It is reaching for thriving in the only ways it knows how, in its own brilliant perfection, every moment of every day. Your body is it's dealing with all kinds of things at the cellular level. Genius body of yours. And all it's asking for is a little love and attention, a little listening in, so that you can begin to sync with what it really needs. It needs a healthy aerobic foundation. It's what our bodies evolved to have. Okay? So that's what it's trying to do. And it's just trying to get your attention. So a lot of us treat a plateau as like this new thing we got to blast over. A lot of the other programs out there are going to teach to even amp it up, ramp it up, do more to get through your plateau. I'm going to invite you to sit still with yourself first. And I want you to consider the possibility that less might be more. Because you cannot burn fat if you're not getting a full night's sleep. It won't happen. You cannot burn fat if you're eating a bunch of sugar. It won't happen. You cannot burn fat if you're exercising at too high of an intensity. It physiologically cannot happen. That's a sugar burning state. Okay? So all we have to do is trick out some of these pieces and support the body with what it's asking for. Help it burn more fat. And again, burning fat, it feels pretty good, to be buttoning those jeans when we're burning fat. Here's what I want you to know. It feels really good. The brain needs you to have a fat burning metabolism. The brain is over 63% fat. Some studies say almost 70% fat. We evolved these huge cortexes by walking and foraging, eating a lot of fat. Okay? Early humans developed the cortex they passed on to us, the one that reads and writes and walks. That cortex, that sophisticated cortex, came along because humans were walking along at a pretty easy pace most of the time, foraging, getting plenty of sleep, plenty of sunlight, and eating plenty of fat. So my proposal is, if we can model ourselves after those early humans, we can begin to recover the health that is natural to us in a very natural way, in a joyful way. The way that you move your body shouldn't be to punish your body. Don't try to punish your body into being smaller or faster or stronger or fitter. Love your body. Let it show you what it can really do when you provide it with a fat burning metabolism. And those are the tools in my program. That's what I teach. It's the paradigm shift that I'm after. Every week I try to come at it from a slightly different angle so you can really hear it. I know there's some of you out there like, wait a minute, Darcy, just, tell me how many miles to go and what my time should be. And I'd rather talk about the intensity, what your heart rate should be. And everybody in my Vibrant Woman program is going to learn that. Basically, I want you to throw your old 220 formula out the window. I want you to take the number 180 and subtract your age. That's the highest your heart rate should ever be for this program. You might even need to subtract an additional 5 or 10 from that number if you have had a history of illness or injury, right? Because all of those things then, think about what that means. Those are signs and symptoms of aerobic deficiency. So if we want to build the aerobic system, we have to slow down even more. Okay? So that's the way off your plateau, friends, is simply to notice what it's telling you. It's telling you I'm not able to burn fat right now because I'm having an aerobic deficiency. The way to get back into fat burning then is to ramp up the aerobic system. And we don't do it with more stress. We don't do it by trying harder. We do it by lowering stress. Stress gets in the way of fat burning. So you just really can't have both. So if you want more tips for how to lower stress, I want you to set up a discovery call with me. I want to talk to you a little bit about what you can look forward to in my Vibrant Woman program. We really go through all the places stress is hiding. It's in our air, in our food, in our water, and thinking about how all of those stressors are out there can tend to make some of us, it did me in the beginning, feel even more stressed. And I don't want that to happen to you. What we do in the program is we learn to make a list of the ones we have some control over and how to tackle those, and the ones that we don't have any control over. But listen, this is all about load. This is all about stress load. And the way that your adrenal glands are adapting. Basically, your adrenal glands are it's like your organ of adaptation. It allows you to adapt to the stressors of your life, unless it's too much. And for most of us modern humans, women especially, it is too much. And that's why the plateau. So there's nothing wrong with you, and you don't have to try harder. You just have to notice what it's telling you. You need to amp up your aerobic system. It's not hard to do that. It's a change for many of us. It's a change, but it doesn't have to be hard. And I love to talk more about this with anybody who's interested. Mark your calendars. I want you to stay tuned. So I'm going to go ahead and harness the momentum of this January is a welcome mat into new habits, perhaps. Not a new you, because there's nothing wrong with you that we need to fix, but maybe some new habits that will make you feel better if you stay consistent with them. So I'm going to invite some people to try these methods that I'm talking about. The slower heart rate, some eating changes, a way to just get that aerobic system to become more efficient. And let's do it together. So around the 1st of January, you're going to be hearing from me. I'll invite you in, and let's create a community of folks who want to give this a try, okay? And we'll support each other, and we'll talk about all the nitty-gritty details, and I'll share the science behind it and some practical steps, and we'll try that. Let's do a Vibrant Woman January reset. We need a name. I don't know what to call it. I don't want anything, marketing, weird, spammy stuff, anything that triggers like all of our insecurities and all the ways you have to fix yourself. It needs to be fun. It might just be January fun, the aerobic reset of fun. But the point is, we've got to lower stress, and we've got to get moving. We've got to do it in a way that really honors what our bodies really need. They need to move, but they don't need to move in a way that hurts them more. And that's what a lot of us are doing. So if that's you, I just want to invite you to consider what I've said, invite you to get outside for easy walks. I want you to think about ways that you can play. I want you to bring joy into your life whenever and wherever possible. For a lot of us, dancing will do it. Trade in your treadmill for a dance workout, although not the Zumba one that's like 9 p.m. because you need to fit back in your jeans. Don't do that anymore. You'd be much better to, like roll on the floor with your kids or dog, or go out and do, I don't know, I still have gardening to do. I've got a bunch of leaves that I need to wrangle into a pile. And so just try to find ways to have fun with your body. And this is not an easy time of year to eat well. I get it. So if you're on a sugar wagon, don't feel shame about it. Just notice. Notice how's your sleep. Notice what kind of thoughts an inflamed brain is capable of. I tend to be really hopeless when I'm eating a lot of sugar. So if that's you, set up a discovery call with me. We can talk about it. Or stay tuned. We're going to turn that momentum around come January, okay? So all of you on a plateau, hold tight for now. Do what you can to get some extra sleep, to lower that stress. Take time for you. Take care of yourself. Eat your protein in your salad first if you're going to indulge in those sugary treats. That at least will slow the glucose response, which will slow the insulin response, which will keep that cortisol Hopefully from waking you up at 3 in the morning again, okay? And if you're ready to feel better for good and to get on a really smooth pathway that you can build momentum, see, these things are only hard in the beginning. Once you make a habit, that habit momentum will take you farther than you can imagine. That's why I went from complete burnout, not just back to healthy. That pathway keeps going. Like, I'm thriving. I feel better every year. I had no idea that was possible. None of the people I was watching live getting older chronologically. I didn't see anybody doing that. I had no idea that was possible. But it is. So if that's something you want, I'm glad you're here. I hope you come back. I hope you stick around. All right, we've got some fun things coming up. Happy, holy days to each and every one of you. Whatever you're celebrating, whatever is coming from your heart and your hearth this time of year, I send you all the love from mine. Okay, everybody. As always, send me your questions, and I'll see you next time.